From ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. Concerned that holiday travel will feed a spike in coronavirus cases, ABC's Elvin Lopez tracking new numbers.
34 states are now seeing a surge in new infections. The U.S. averaging more than 94,000 cases a day. That's 20,000 more than a week ago. In New Mexico, healthcare workers are at their breaking point.
But says Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy on Fox News Sunday.
The good news is that we are certainly well down from the peaks that we hit during the Delta wave earlier this year.
And health officials continue to urge people to get their booster shots before those holiday family gatherings. On ABC's This Week, Dr. Anthony Fauci said experts are keeping an eye on the data to see if another round of boosters should be called for next year.
We can't predict if we may need more later on, but for now, you get very good protection when you get that boost.
COVID restrictions sparking more protests around Europe. Some 35,000 taking to the streets of Belgium today, marching to European Union headquarters, shouting freedom. Several hundred people started pelting police, smashing cars, and setting garbage bins ablaze. Police responding with water cannons and tear gas. Police still looking for a passenger who fled the Atlanta airport after a gun inside his bag was discharged at the security checkpoint Saturday afternoon. That shot sending people running and ducking for cover. Flight stopped for a time. ABC's Zareen Shah has the latest on the search for the suspect.
Investigators say it all began when 42-year-old Kenny Wells was moving through security when the gun, which was in the bag, was detected by an X-ray machine. The TSA says agents opened the bag and Wells lunged forward, grabbing the gun, causing it to discharge. They say he then took off running and now faces multiple charges.
Last month, a coup sent Sudan's prime minister into house arrest. Today, signed a deal with the military to see him reinstated. A key pro-democracy group that's mobilized dozens of protests has dismissed the deal as, quote, a form of betrayal. You're listening to ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-533-6605 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
The NSA is among the nation's most secretive agencies. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas brings us inside.
General Paul Nakasone oversees the world's most powerful electronic spy agency, the NSA.
In cyberspace, the advantage goes to those that have speed and agility.
With cyber threats spiking, Nakasone says he's seeking to have his agencies evolve, increasingly pushing them to step out of the shadows and to engage more not only with other federal agencies, but private sector partners as well.
What we don't want to have is a failure to imagine what's happening.
The adversary, nations like Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and their proxies, also terrorists and criminal organizations.
Back home, progress for golfer Tiger Woods after a car crash that left him badly hurt.
Talk about a picture and this sound being worth 1,000 words. Tiger Woods posting a 3-second video to his social media accounts showing him for the first time since his auto accident hitting a golf ball. Just one swing with the caption, making progress. Woods shown wearing a compression sock on his right leg, which helps blood flow. His crash last February causing several injuries to his right leg and foot that leaving Woods' golf future uncertain. Joey Waller, ABC News.
Celebrating a birthday on the same day as President Biden Saturday, the original Gerber baby. The company says Ann Turner Cook turned 95. This is ABC News.
Hundreds of thousands of people have said goodbye to their overpriced Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile plans and switched to Pure Talk on the same great 5G coverage as one of those carriers. Get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. The average family is saving over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill50 to save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250. Say Jill50.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Aggie basketball is 1 hour and counting. It's time for KVNU Game Day with more analysis and previews. Sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Castelite, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and LSS Insurance. Now, with a countdown to tip-off, here's the legendary voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis and Jalen Moore.
And we're also brought to you today by West Point Dairy. They ship butter products all around the world, and they are hiring, and they're looking for people who are mechanically inclined or skilled machine operators. You call Express Employment Professionals about West Point Dairy and their great jobs. 213-9595. Well, it is an Aggie basketball Sunday. Utah State and Oklahoma have played one time before. That was 1939. They were among the 8 schools invited to the very first ever NCAA basketball tournament. I believe the game was in San Francisco. The Aggies were under E.L. Dick Romney. They were 17-5 that year, and they lost 50-39 to the Sooners at the end of the 1939 season. So it is 83 seasons ago now until we meet for this early in this season championship of the Myrtle Beach Invitational at Conway, South Carolina for the Sooners and the Aggies. Now, Oklahoma got here with a 79-74 win over East Carolina on Thursday. Then Friday afternoon, they ripped Indiana State by a score of 87-63. It was kind of close at half, and then Porter Moser's team took off.
We took care of the ball. We had 9 turnovers early, and about 5 of them were on post feeds. And we talked about taking care of the ball. We talked about running. We were really trying to, win the first 3 steps, stay fresh, get out and advance the ball and transition. I think we can play faster. We've been playing faster here.
And the Sooners are now 4-0. The Aggies also ripped their Friday foe, beating a longtime rival, New Mexico State. They took the New Mags to the woodshed, 85-58. Like Oklahoma, Utah State's first game at Myrtle Beach was a little tougher. Obviously, the double overtime thriller with Penn, 87-79. Both schools have new coaches who have had NCAA success. Porter Moser took Loyola Chicago to those 2 NCAA deep journeys, including a Final Four, and he replaces the retired Lon Kruger at Norman, Oklahoma. And then Ryan Odom always will be the coach of the first number 16 team to beat a number 1 seed in Virginia in the 2018 tournament when he was at Maryland, Baltimore County. And Ryan Odom thinking about Oklahoma today?
Yeah, we're facing a really tough opponent. Obviously a well-coached team. Coach Moser in his first year after leaving Loyola Chicago and doing so well there. Seems like they're clicking early in the season right now. They have a good balance, of inside and outside game. Whenever you're facing a team coached by Coach Moser, baskets are going to be hard to come by.
So it's an interesting setup for a rare Sunday afternoon Aggie basketball game. ESPN2 will have it at 1 o'clock for this final of this ESPN multi-team event. Hi, everybody. It's Al Lewis with Jalen Moore. And, Jalen, this time of year, usually it's Sunday attention on the NFL. But for the next 4 hours, let's go to Utah State basketball. I'm sure, as a former Aggie basketball player, you'll pull yourself away from the NBA to talk some Aggie hoops and to watch some Aggie hoops today, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Like I said, on Friday and Thursday, I would be excited as a player, too. This is a great opportunity to get to play against a team like Oklahoma, a team that you might not always see until something like the NCAA tournament. So we got to play 2 good teams so far in this tournament, and now they get to play Oklahoma. So I'm intrigued to see how we stack up against them. They got a lot of good transfers that were good players at the previous schools they were at. And, like he said, they got a new coach in Porter Moser, who is well known for taking his Loyola Chicago teams deep into the NCAA tournament. So they have a lot of good pieces that make them a good team, and we're playing at a really high level right now, and we got a day off, so hopefully our guys are fresh and ready to go, and I think they're going to be. I think it's going to be a really entertaining championship game.
As the tournament started, you said you were hoping it was going to be Utah State, Oklahoma, and there's a reason for that because Oklahoma's probably the big glamour team in this tournament.
Yeah, exactly. They are, and most people probably had them picked to win the whole thing once they saw the field, and didn't know who potentially it could be. There were guys like Joe Lunardi who said it was going to be us in Oklahoma, and they called it right. And I think we're the two teams playing the best ball out of the tournament so far, and we luckily get a match up against them. And both playing at a high level. We've lost one game. They haven't lost yet. And like we said, they had a few close games. They had a blowout game, kind of like we did in the tournament so far. And so we're both on the same track, and we meet in the championship game, and it's going to be exciting.
Real-time RPI, I was checking that today. That's always every day updated after teams play. Oklahoma is now number 40, and the Aggies are number 57. So, again, this would be kind of one of those quad one type wins if Utah State could get that. And it is a tough assignment. We'll talk about the matchup here in a moment, Jalen. But what about the response of the Aggies after the loss to UC Davis 12 days ago? And really, starting with the second half against Richmond, we have, again, seen a team that I think all of us have wanted to see. They really have kind of put together an interesting run of offense and defense, this basketball team, really after that first game, haven't they?
Yeah, they're showing what they're capable as a team. Like we said, first game of the season, new coach, new players, fans back in the stands. You know, that's a big adjustment for a lot of people, too. Most of our team played in front of 4,000 people, you know, and now you're actually going places and there's fans, and we're playing at home. There's a lot of pressure to beat UC Davis and all this stuff. And, you know, we just kind of played flat. We didn't play up to our, you know, what we're capable of. And I think all the players knew that. And I think it was probably a good thing that we went on the road to a place like the Naval Academy and it was able to play a high-profile team like Richmond. That's going to bring the best out of your team. So I think the scheduling has been done really well. And now we're playing against good teams in the Myrtle Beach, and we're showcasing what we're capable of. I think Ryland's coming into his own. Horvath has looked good the whole time. Obviously, Bean's playing at a really high level. And so I think we're locked in defensively, we're locked in offensively, and I think our guys are having fun and they're getting along, you know. So that's a big thing is I think the team chemistry is high as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that. 11 days since the first loss. They've been away from Logan. Those 11 days, it's been 12 days total, 11 days away from Logan. And it's only the team and the coaches and the trainers and the managers and maybe some close family friends along with them. And Ryland Jones had this to say the other day.
We've had fun together. We've been on the road, I don't even know how many days, and just bonded even more than, you know, because we didn't have that long to bond, you know, in the summer. We got here in June. You know, some of the guys were already here. Brandon and RJ came from UMBC with the coaching staff. I came from Utah, Norbert, Utah, and Z, some freshmen. And then, you know, we're just clicking, and more time you spend together, the better you play with each other, and the more you love each other, the better you play with each other too. So
it really is when you play games, the playing of the games and then the practice and the preparation and all that, that's where you really find out what your team is all about. And in the years you played, you probably noticed that too, Jalen.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, we were able to luckily play in places like Cancun and stuff where you're just away from your hometown and away from your home site. And, yeah, it is only coaches, close friends, teammates, managers, weight coaches, whoever it is, everybody associated with the program. And it just builds a bond. And I've heard about it too. You know, they've even said that that's how it goes in the NBA when they go on those week-long road trips or 8 or 9 day road trips. Like the team just bonds, the coaches bond with the team, and everybody just gets closer, you know, because you don't really have much else to do. You got to hang out with your teammates and coaches. And so it does build a big bond, and especially it's obviously going to help you when you're playing at a high level and you're winning games. That also builds the chemistry and shows what you're capable of. And so I like the way that our team's looking so far, and I think we're steady on an uphill climb is where you want to be at the beginning of the season. You know, you don't want to plateau and peak out already, and I think we're still on a steady uphill climb, and now you have another test in front of you that I think is going to bring out the best of our players.
Coach Odom yesterday, in talking about this game today, did say, hey, within 2 weeks, this team has grown a lot.
You know, they didn't pout about losing the first game to UC Davis. They just went back to work and said, we have to do better, you know, as a unit. And, you know, I think there's a maturity level that this team has. And, you know, I do believe that we will go for it. I'm excited about the opportunity. I know the guys are as well.
So this opportunity again to play against Oklahoma. You win, and it's a lot more fun. No matter what, you play good teams. I think it builds a basketball team. And this would, obviously, this really helps for sure to have the team now out there like they've done, started to win, starting to get together. But now they get the fun and the competition with this solid team. Jalen, this is one of the best NCAA programs out there in Oklahoma. It's what, you know, you were, like we said, you wanted this going in. Oklahoma's the team that, has Trae Young, Blake Griffin. They've got NBA guys. Associated Press a couple of years ago ranked the all-time basketball programs, and of course you've got UCLA, Kentucky, and some of those up there. But Oklahoma is number 20. We mentioned the Aggies lost their first NCAA tournament in the first NCAA tournament to Oklahoma at the top. It's the last time they played. But 5 times, including that year, they were in the Final Four. 33 NCAA times they have been in there. Aggies have been 23 times to the tournament. And after last year, Lon Kruger decided to retire. His son, Kevin Kruger, incidentally, is now the coach at UNLV. And I understand Dad's helping down there, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on today. But Porter Moser, who had these 2 great runs at Loyola Chicago just recently in the tournament, comes into Norman, Oklahoma. And you touched on it. They've got 10 newcomers, 5 of them Division I transfers. And, you hear a transfer from Duke and maybe from SMU. You think, okay, these are good guys. But you know what? Their best guy is a transfer from Eastern Washington. How did Gonzaga let him get out of Spokane to Eastern Washington, now to Oklahoma in this, again, Tanner Groves? This guy's a good player.
Yeah, he is a good player. And I think his brother went with him as well. And they were both at Eastern Washington, and they were probably their 2 best players last year. They looked really good in the tournament. They played at a high level in the tournament and all season. And so, like we said, it's just kind of crazy, the transfer portal. Now you look at it and you don't have to sit out anymore. So coaches do a good job of, they almost recruit transfers like they do high school players or JUCO players now. It's like you can go out and get who you want and they can come play right away. And I think their coaching staff did a good job of grabbing those Groves brothers. They were able to snag up Jordan Goldwire, who played really substantial minutes for Duke last year and was a leader for them. They have a lot of experience. They got guys that played in the tournament. They have guys that won their conferences. They have guys that have won a lot of games in Cameron that have played for Coach K. They just have a lot of experience and that they can build their team around. And then you bring in a coach that has a lot of NCAA experience and winning a lot of games too. And that's why they look successful. They look good. And like I said, that's why as a player, you look at a team like that, you're like, I want to play against those guys and test my ability and test our team's ability. And we can really see where we're at because, like you said, the Big 12 and Oklahoma produced good players, Buddy Hield, Blake Griffin, Trae Young. The crazy thing about it is they all go to the NBA and they're successful. So that's a program that you want to play against as a player and you want to coach against as a coach.
Tough assignment for the Aggies today because, again, they are the 4th best shooting team so far in America this year. Aggies, of course, pride themselves on some defense. And the Aggies have the number 6 scorer in the nation right now. Justin Bean, scoring 24 points a game, is number 6 in the nation in both scoring. He's also number 6 with 12.5 rebounds a game right now. So the major assignment for Oklahoma will be on him today. So we'll talk more about this matchup with Jalen Moore as we continue on our pregame coverage of the Aggies in Oklahoma. It's coming up at 1 o'clock on ESPNU for the game today. And right before that is the Boise State-Mississippi game. They're playing one of the consolation games in the Charleston tournament. Right now, I think they're even at about 34 the last time I saw the score there. Make it special, make it Jarek's. Always, again, it is a diamond engagement ring store extraordinaire. They also do custom design, in-house laser, jewelry repair, and all that. It's Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Again, one of our sponsors, 930 North Main and Logan. And coming up, we will later on talk a little bit about famous coaches and being a son of a famous coach.
I consider myself blessed to be a coach's son and be raised in a basketball family.
And again, that's, of course, Ryan Odom. His dad was a great coach, and we'll talk about that later on. It's game day on KVNU.
The Elements Restaurant is serving a plated Thanksgiving dinner this year with all the holiday classics. Herb roasted turkey breast with a sage turkey gravy, garlic whipped potatoes, and whipped sweet potatoes, traditional cornbread stuffing, and delicious warm rolls. And for dessert, choose between pumpkin pie, pecan pie, or apple pie galette. Let the Elements serve your family a delicious Thanksgiving feast while you spend the day enjoying family and friends. Primetime fills up quickly. Reserve online today at theelementsrestaurant.com or call 750-5171.
I'm here with Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical. Jay, I hear your ads for CPAP resupply all the time. What do I need to do to just get that taken care of?
It's easy. We can set up your CPAP resupply within a few minutes. We'll work out all the insurance for you, and then we'll start mailing the supplies straight to your door. You can even chat with a CPAP specialist online. Just visit us at alpinehomemedical.com. We'll have you sleeping better in no time.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home. Hi, this is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. As a thank you for your trust and support since we opened our doors 1 year ago, we are excited to host a holiday service featuring a J. Richards ensemble. We extend a special invite to anyone who is missing a loved one as they celebrate this holiday season. All are invited to attend on Thursday, December 2nd at 7 p.m. with refreshments to follow. Please give us a call or visit whitepinefunerals.com for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah's fireplace category help you update your home with Napoleon's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Napoleon has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
Yeah, it felt good. I finished the second half of the pen in overtime. We played pretty well, finished that stretch, and, just kept the confidence going. And I happened to get a couple wide open shots today. I got a wide open three the first play of the game and missed, and that was my last miss. So usually when that's your first shot, your last miss, that's pretty good. And credit to my teammates, they just found me in open areas, and I made the shots. And that's what basketball is, putting the ball in the basket.
That's Rylan Jones, obviously. He has made all 12 of his free throws that he has had so far this year. And he goes 7 for 8, 5 of 6 three-pointers made in the win against New Mexico State. He had Jalen, in the start of the year up until that game, 3 of 11 was what he was shooting from 3. So, again, you get on one of those kind of rolls when you miss your first shot, then you make all the rest. In the basketball game, it does give it a lot of confidence. And, again, how big is it, his offense scoring, besides what he does do as far as running the team? And then also, of course, now we've seen on the defensive end what he does.
Yeah, I think it's important for our team, especially right now. We're getting a lot of consistency from Horvath and Bean. Like, you kind of know what you're going to get from them, rebounding-wise, scoring-wise. And, like, for the years that I've done this with you guys, you always are like, hey, who's going to be that third scorer that we can rely on and that can also be consistent and efficient? And the last few games, it's been Rylan. Rylan's been that guy that runs the team. He gets it after it defensively. He's gritty, but then when his scoring's up there and he's scoring in above 12 points and stuff like that, like that's another guy that you can give the ball to. If a team's really focused on Bean, if guys like Horvath and Brock and Rylan and them can really step up, I think that's big for us, and we can build with that. And our bench play hasn't been the best so far. So when our starters step up and they score in double figures, that's a big building block and a big piece for us.
It is. You just spoke of the bench. That was one thing. Again, we at least saw playing time. Max Scholga had a double-figure game the other night, and this is what the coach said after the game about the bench. And let's talk more about that.
Yeah, certainly, I thought Trevin obviously helped us again at the beginning of the game. Midway through the first half, we went with a bigger lineup and played he and Brandon and Bean similar to the way that we did against Richmond. And I think that's a lineup that we can continue to cultivate, having 2 ball handlers out there, and really more than that if you count Bean and Brandon in that mix. We still have 4 guys that can, dribble, pass, and shoot out there with Trevin. And so it is what it is. It's about making the pieces fit, and we've got to continue to try to cultivate the bench the best we can. And today, was an opportunity for that. We're coming off of 2 overtime game. We knew we were going to have to sub, pretty early in the game to be able to, make sure that our guys were fresh throughout. And then the game obviously, played out the way that it did. So we were able to get some guys some more minutes, which was huge. Max is a very good player. Z is a very good player. But we've got to figure out in terms of how the pieces fit together, because it is a puzzle off the bench as well, and how those guys, can really help this team. And I thought today was a step in the right direction for that. It's not fixed yet, but it was a step in the right direction for us. Shimon, obviously, too. I put him in the first half when Trevin got his second foul. I thought he played really well. So
we saw Scholga, and Scholga can be a playmaker. he sometimes plays a little bit out of control at this particular point, but he's a guy, and I think, he and Bairstow give you bigger, longer type bodies, and Shulga drew a charge and did some things against New Mexico State. It was good to finally see him maybe get a little bit going here, I think, for Max Shulga.
Yeah, and like I said, when you're up by 30, it's hard. It's hard to go out there and do and produce what you're supposed to do. And he went out there and played his game and did what he was supposed to do. And coaches see that. They're going to look at the plus minus. They're going to look at the good things he did while he was out there. And everything he did was good. I don't think he was able to get in passing lanes. He got himself to the free throw line. He hit a three, like you said. He took a charge. He made plays for people. Those are all things that they take account of, regardless of what the score is. And we need that kind of stuff from the bench. We need the Ashworth from the bench and Trevin. And Bairstow's hurt right now. He's going to come back and help us as well. So we need that production from the bench. And it's also a little bit easier to produce and do stuff like that when you are up by 30 and 40. But we need that same kind of confidence. We need that same kind of production when it's a close game, when it's a 6-point game or 8-point game, or we're down by 4 and we need to have bench guys come in. We got to get that same kind of production when we really need that bench play compared to being up 30 or 40. But I did like what I see from them, and I think, like I said, as long as our team keeps peaking and not plateauing right now, and we get better each game, that's what the coaches and players are looking for.
What have you seen so far? It's intriguing to see this young freshman, Z Hamoda from Bahrain, what he could maybe be in the future. And even this year, I think, don't you? You can kind of see athletically, long arms. He could be an interesting guy.
Yeah, I do. I do think he can be a good piece for us. I think he can be a really good defender, like you said, athletic. He's long, lanky. If he gets his shot going, he's going to be really effective. He's smart. He's a good playmaker. He's had a few good finishes, too, that I liked around the rim for a freshman, and he goes out and he plays hard, he's smart. And that's the thing I like when you recruit guys from Europe and other countries like that. A lot of the time they come over and they have a really high basketball IQ, and they make correct plays. Like we said, all freshmen, all newcomers, stuff like that, they're going to make their mistakes, but it's as long as how do they bounce back from it. And so far I've seen, Shulga and Hamoda make some mistakes, but the thing is they bounce back from it and they don't let it linger with them, and that's what I like to see from some of those guys that didn't get as much playing time last year, and some newcomers. That's the kind of stuff you want to see as a coach and as teammates.
It was the best offense the Aggies have had in a game in 2 years in the game against New Mexico State, shooting 56%. They hit 14 of 29 threes. But I thought the defense was really impressive. At the end of the game, points in the paint were 28-10. And Ryan and Jones told us
our game plan was to keep them in front of us, our chest in front of their chest, and make them shoot over us. And we did that from the tip. We just made them shoot hard shots, contested shots, and they made some of them. And that's what will happen. But as long as you can make them shoot more hard shots than good shots, then you got a good chance of winning.
That 28-10 points in the paint was big. And again, it'll be big today because Oklahoma's got some athletes that probably can take it to the hole better. But also the other problem in this game, Jalen, I see, is they are a good shooting team. I mean, Groves likes to shoot an outside shot. And so you are going to have to, you can't just keep him outside of you. You're going to have to stay with him when he's out there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that makes him tough is he's going to be the biggest guy on the court. He's big. He's strong. He can score around the basket. So, it's kind of hard because if Bean or Horvath guards him, he kind of has that advantage in the post where he knows that because he's going to be bigger and stronger. But at the same time, he's tough because he can stretch the court out and he can make threes. And he can make 3 or 4 threes if you let him. So he's a tough guy to guard. The other Groves brother as well, he can shoot. Mm-hmm. He's athletic. He's lanky. He can get to the rim. Goldwire, obviously, he's been in a good program for a long time. He can shoot. They have Hill, who's a good athlete. They're going to have a lot of pieces that we're going to have to be focused on, and it's going to be a little bit of a more complete and different team that we've seen so far compared to everybody else that we've played against.
And here is, again, Coach Moser of their team. He has about the best shooting team in the nation, number 4. But again, against Indiana State, the thing when somebody said, okay, did you like your offense as much as your defense?
I thought I was definitely more happy with the defense.
Definitely happening and more with the defense when, again, they held Indiana State down. Especially, again, they held them to 33 points in the second half after it was a 38-30 game at the half. Indiana State ended up shooting just 22% from 3 for the game. So they did a good defensive job on them. And again, the Aggies have been a good shooting team lately, like we said, off their best game in 2 years. So it'll be an interesting deal how this one all matches up into this game today. Again, Utah State and Oklahoma coming up. They score about 85, give up 60. The Aggies score 81.5, give up 71. But look at the assist-to-turnover ratio of these two teams so far, Jalen. Oklahoma's 74-51, and the Aggies are 76-53. So very similar there. Again, the Aggies right now shoot about 48%, give up about 39, and they give up about 39, shoot 54. So those are kind of the numbers. So what are your feelings today about an Aggie win against Oklahoma, which would be a great feather in the cap? How do they get it done today? What are your keys to the game?
Yeah, so my first key that we've kind of touched on is we're going to have to handle their experience. Like we said, they have a lot of guys that were successful in the NCAA tournament. They won conference tournaments, and they all actually kind of just conjoined on this one team with a really good, experienced coach. So I think, like we said, they're good. They're going to shoot the ball well if we let them. They don't turn the ball over very much. They assist on a lot of their field goals. So they're an experienced team, and their defense is on point. So we're going to have to handle a lot of different things that they throw at us. And, we're going to have to make it – we're going to have to go take the game from them. We're going to have to try to out-rebound them. We're going to have to try to make them turn the ball over, get them frustrated, not give them open looks. And because they're a team that's probably not going to beat themselves if you let them. So we're going to have to go take the game from them and handle their experience. Number two, I think Rylan Jones has to assert himself early. Like we said, we gotten the consistency from Bean and from Horvath. But when Rylan plays at that level and he rebounds the ball and he makes plays and he gets after it defensively, but then he also pitches in that 15, 16, 20-plus points a game, that's huge for our team. And I think he has to start doing that early at the game, at the beginning of the game, is insert himself, whether it's facilitating or scoring. I think he just needs to do both. And number three, like we said, I think we're going to have to battle Tanner Groves in the paint. We know he's going to spread it out. He's going to shoot some threes, but I think he's going to have a little bit of a size and advantage over Horvath or Bean, whoever's on him. And so I think that's going to have to be a battle right there. Potentially maybe throw a couple double teams at him. Don't let him get comfortable and try to confuse him a little bit. But if we play one-on-one with him in the post, he's going to have an advantage. So it'll be interesting to see what we throw at him, but we're going to definitely have to battle with him.
I think, Bean and Horvath have had their way with most of the teams we've played so far, at least as far as having an advantage. And, with Horvath, he's actually right now 8th in the nation in shooting three-point shots. Brandon is, 12 of 19. That's 8th best in the nation. So, again, they're going to have to follow him out there, and obviously. But the deal here is, you got the Shagwa, and you've got the other bigger guy that they can play off the bench for them that can help them inside. And then Hill's kind of long and lengthy, and then you've got, again, Groves. So, again, it might not be the inside matchup, and that's where I think Rylan and some of the people on the outside are going to have to be a big, big part of this game as well. Quickly, the coach did say this about doubling Groves. Can you do that?
We will double him at times, hopefully. Not hopefully. We will double him at times, get him on the side of the court, similar to the way we have, against New Mexico State and then also Richmond.
So, again, that was what the coach said about that. Well, Jalen, there's your keys to the game. Brought to you by Cache Valley's premier location for events. We're talking about Riverwoods Conference Center. Facebook, Instagram have current calendars of things going on there. Make sure you get with Elements right away, first thing in the week for your Thanksgiving dinner coming up. And we'll talk to you after the game, Jalen. We'll see how it goes, and we'll analyze it and have your thoughts on it, and we'll take some calls and texts and everything. So you can text in questions for Jalen Moore after the game today, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks a lot, Jalen Moore. Game coming up again at the top of the hour on ESPN2 after this Boise State-Ole Miss game is over. 7 minutes to play, tied 46-all. Boise was down early, but they've been fighting back in the second half and playing well against Kermit Davis's team, the former Larry Eustace assistant now at Wisconsin. So we'll be back with more of Game Day coming up in the next segment.
You don't want to skip those steps because so much about growing your team, is what exactly – could you have done better? What did you do well? And I don't want to skip that process ever.
Again, that is Porter Moser talking about a way he has been able to get his team to, again, Sweet 16s last 2 years, including a Final Four, Loyola Chicago. James Stevens and Mark Thurston at White Pine Funeral Services have years of experience caring for families from all walks of life. Expect compassionate care, high integrity, excellent service, and a beautiful facility providing families with memorable experiences, of course, at a tough time with funerals. It is whitepinefunerals.com, and this is Game Day on KVNU.
It's that first kiss, that moment
just in time.
This is Jarek from Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Everyone knows us as an engagement ring store, but not everyone knows about everything else we do. Custom design, our in-house laser jewelry repair. We offer fashion jewelry, charm bracelets, necklaces, earrings, birthstone jewelry, watches. We love people to just look and make a wish list. Stop in and say hi.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. Look, I admit in the past we've been a little bit hard on Lewiston for not buying mattresses. All that has changed now. Lewiston has practically written IntelliBed into their city bylaws. This makes us feel like celebrating. Hooray for Lewiston! You're finally sleeping better, Lewiston. We thought that you were all insomniacs. Now we can relax. Good job, Lewiston. I gotta tell you, though, I am concerned about Mendon. My Mattress by the new Walmart.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Your team's in the locker room ready to get out there and play to win, but you see a player you don't recognize. They're wearing your jersey and even know your coach's name. But who are they? Would you let this stranger look at your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing attacks work. In 2020, the number of phishing attacks against businesses doubled compared to the previous year. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
KVNU Game Day returns with Al Lewis.
Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance.
So the fact that we came here and had a couple days to prepare and get our minds right, get our bodies right, it shows a lot to the mental toughness of this team. And again, yeah, for me personally, I'm grateful that anytime I'm out on the court, I'm going to take advantage and try and do what I can to make winning plays and try and help our team get the edge. So I'm just happy we could come up with.
Yeah, the wins are starting to show Justin Bean a little bit about this Aggie basketball team. Now off to a 3-1 start after that loss to UC Davis at the start of the year. On this road trip, Justin celebrated his birthday. His wife and mom and dad are on the trip as well. And he has always loved the University of Oklahoma. That's been Justin Bean's school forever. He loves their football, and he loves Blake Griffin. He has followed Oklahoma, and now, again, the first time in, 83 seasons, the Aggies are playing Oklahoma for the first time since that NCAA tournament game, 1939, and now Justin Bean gets a chance. So his motor will be racing a little bit more. I mean, can his motor race any more than it always does? It's an amazing deal, isn't it, to think that the Aggies are playing Oklahoma today for Justin Bean up until now. Again, as we mentioned, Porter Moser's the new coach at Oklahoma, replacing Alon Kruger, who retired after a very successful career. Oklahoma, Kruger was at UNLV. He was at a number of different places. I remember at one time he coached Tim Duryea, the former Aggie head coach, when he was coaching down in Texas at a spot. And of course, now the new guy is Porter Moser there, taking over. But what's interesting is Lon Kruger's son, Kevin Kruger, takes over at UNLV. Richard Pitino takes over at New Mexico, the son of Rick Pitino, who got back into coaching when it looked like he was out of it. And then Dave Odom's son, Ryan Odom, is here in Logan. Isn't it interesting, again, to have this kind of situation? And again, 3 coaches of famous sons in the Mountain West Conference, Coach.
Now the roles are reversed. And so our fathers, even though I know Coach Pitino's father is still coaching again, but I know he probably lives and dies every time, Richard coaches a game, as does my dad and Kevin as well. It's a tough thing. It's harder for them probably to watch us coach than it is for themselves to coach a game.
And, of course, Ryan has pointed out the only thing his dad said to him when he took the Utah State job is try to get earlier starting times because he'd like to be able to watch the games either on TV or on the internet or whatever. And he has to wait till 9 o'clock where he lives back in the East for some of these games, maybe 10 o'clock on the West Coast. But Dave Odom was the SEC Coach of the Year while at South Carolina in 2004. He was the ACC Coach of the Year in 1991, 1994, and 1995 when he was at Wake Forest and back in that area for a long, long time. And Coach Odom, of course, grew up in this kind of environment and had a chance to experience it firsthand.
One of the things that my father always told me was just be yourself. And, you don't have to be me. I actually didn't ever work for my father, so I wasn't intimately involved with how he ran his program. Obviously he's a huge influence on my basketball coaching. And it's fun to have him around. he was out here for a week, 2 weeks ago, and was able to be around the guys, before and after practice. And that was really healthy for him to be out here. It was great for the guys to kind of see him out here. He turned 79, while he was out here. And so that was pretty fun, to have he and my mom here for a week out in Logan. But
I think that was the first part of October. Of course, that was recorded earlier from Coach Odom talking about that. But now Lucia and his two sons, Connor and Owen. Connor's a walk-on on the team. The other Connor, the walk-on Gillis, made that shot the other day in a game. But Coach Odom, again, he was administrative assistant at South Florida, is where Ryan Odom first got started. Then he went to Furman as assistant coach, UNC Asheville for one season, American for a couple of years, Virginia Tech for quite a while, 2004 to 2010, and then Charlotte, 2011 through 2014. That's where he really got connected with Nate Dixon, as we heard about, and we'll get Nate Dixon's life story here shortly. And then he was actually the interim head coach at Charlotte after they fired the one coach, or the coach left, 8-11 there, before he went to Lenore-Rhine 1 year, went 21-10, made the Division II tournament, and then to UMBC, Maryland-Baltimore County, 97-60, and you'll never forget, again, the 16 being number one, our coach here. Porter Moser, on the other side, is actually in his 18th year. He doesn't look it as a head coach, 10 at Loyola Chicago. We've mentioned 3 Missouri Valley titles and 6 NCAA games and 2 Sweet 16s and the 2018 Final Four in that same year when Odom's team was able to beat Virginia. He had 3 years at Little Rock and 4 years at Illinois State before coaching there. And now his team is off to a 4-0 start. He does say he loves that.
Yesterday we had, really good film session of breaking down things from our first game. And that's what this time of year, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for to eliminate slippage. You're looking for consistency. And we spent a lot of time breaking down areas of things we did well and things we got to get better at. I have seen a willingness, and one thing you want to instill in a team is this willingness to chase your better self. You win a game, but then you got to be just so hungry on what could you have done better. And that's the mentality we're trying to work on, and that's what we were really focusing on yesterday.
In the last 4 years, he's the 10th winningest coach in basketball with what he's done at Loyola, again, coming in as the 15th coach. And he's got a real key to why his teams always get well. And I think back to always hearing about the tape of Good and Bad from Stu Morrill a long time ago, and it sounds like Porter Moser has the same kind of attitude.
I won't skip the process. I'm so big on the process. And the process of where you want to get to by February is this whole mentality of getting better. And part of that process is evaluating, we call it our Get Better tape. What we pulled about 25 clips from that first game on things we can get better. And we have a balance of it. So we don't skip that process. The very first segment of the prep for the next game is what we could have done better the previous game. Even on a short turnaround. We've done that everywhere I've been. Even when you play back-to-back games, like in a tournament, a conference tournament, I know it's got to be shorter, but it's a mentality of getting better. And so that was yesterday. That was we spent the first part of yesterday's practice, which was filmed, about getting better. And then we took a 10-minute break and we came back and then.
See, and that's why, again, these coaches are successful in doing it. The preparation and how they can make their guys a better basketball team. Interesting thoughts from both Coach Odom and from Coach Moser. We got more from Coach Odom coming up, and more of our game day continues on KVNU in just a moment.
We can't get frustrated. I do think we play well from an offensive perspective. We just need to move the ball and play our game. From a defensive perspective, they're really tough to guard.
So that is the key for the game today. Chem Drive Northern Utah brings you our game day. Remember, they have this green certified solution, hot carbonating extraction cleaning method that delivers a deeper, longer lasting clean to your carpets. They do more than just carpet cleaning, but they'll clean anything in your home and make it really, really, 99% of pet odors are taken out of carpets with their system. So really, again, you're thinking about sanitizing these days. Chem Drive, Northern Utah, 752-6100 brings you game day on KVNU.
Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance. There are so many choices when it comes to Medicare. Annual enrollment is October 1st through December 7th. Call LSS Insurance, 752-9493. We are here to help. We will research plan benefits and costs and look up your medications so there are no surprises at the pharmacy. There is no cost to work with us, and you will love having a local agent. Call 752-9493. Want to get the most out of your Medicare benefits? Come see us at LSS Insurance.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
As we head into this wonderful time of year, Ascent Aesthetics says thanks, Cache Valley, for your warm welcome. Ascent Aesthetics has loved getting to know you and how to help with Botox, fillers, microneedling, laser hair removal, medical grade facials, or skincare. Remember, the perfect gift this year is a beautiful you. Let the Ascent team help you feel confident, beautiful, and refreshed. Give the perfect gift this year, a treatment from Ascent Aesthetics. Learn more at AscentAesthetics.com. That's AscentAesthetics.com.
Colonel? Good morning, sir. I see you found a way to keep our cannon out of the mud. Pavers, sir. As a mason, I used to lay them for courtyards and patios. Brilliant. Thank you. They hold up beautifully no matter how punishing the conditions. I can see that. Say, after the war, think you'd be available to pave my patio at Mount Vernon?
Stone pavers from Castellite really catch your eye. Do it yourself with the expert help at Castellite. For all your brick, block, rock, paver, and tile needs, go where the pros go. Castellite.com.
More analysis and more previews of today's game. It's KVNU Game Day.
And they have bigs that can stretch the court. Groves obviously could shoot the three. We're going to have to get to him and his brother. He could shoot it as well. And then also off the bench, the transfer from SMU, he can shoot it, in a post guy's position as well, and Chargot.
So yeah, Chagua actually, I guess is how you say his name, but those are the guys, and again, they're similar to the Aggies in a lot of ways as far as the post going out shooting the basketball for this game coming up here at the top of the hour. ESPN2 for Utah State, Oklahoma playing for the championship of the Myrtle Beach Invitational. Right now, Boise State 57, Ole Miss 50 with 1:59 to go, and Boise State has the ball. So they're doing a good job in the second half after being down almost 10 at the end of the first half. Weber State 68, Green Bay 58 today. Randy Ray's team is off to a 5-0 start, and his best player is Kobe McEwen. The former Utah State players come in to play his graduation senior year and has just done a great job for Weber State so far. If you missed it last night in our conference, we had Air Force beat Holy Cross. New Mexico defeated Montana State. Texas beat San Jose State. And San Diego State 68, Arlington 62. Arlington played them a tough game. They're the next game for the Aggies after this one when the Aggies play at home next Saturday night. Arlington's only won one game. They're one of the best defensive teams in the nation up until now. Our conference is 29-12 going into this Boise game where it looks like maybe they'll make it 30-12. And Boise would be 3-2 if they win this game. You still got Fresno State undefeated. Colorado State's undefeated. Colorado State is playing Creighton today. They're 4-0. Wyoming is 3-0. And then Fresno State's 3-0. UNLV's at 3-1. Aggies at 3-1. New Mexico 3-1 with their win. San Diego State's 3-1. Air Force 3-1. And they're, I believe, playing a game again today in their tournament. And Nevada's 1-3. San Jose's 1-3. And then you've got Boise a chance to go to 3-2 now. So a very good start to our conference season. And did you notice Utah got that win against Boston College? Craig Smith's team off to a 4-0 start. That's their best win. But Weber 5-0, Utah 4-0, BYU 4-0. They won an easy one last night as we look at scoreboard today. Brought to you by Castellite. Mr. Do-It-Yourselfer, Castellite has all of the block and the rock and the pavers and the brick and the tile. They can help make anything look great, and they can help you get the job done yourself. Castellite.com for more details. Let's get into our coaches segment with, again, Coach Ryan Odom for this game today against Oklahoma.
It's a tough matchup, without a doubt, because they have guys that can score in and around the rim, plus they have guys that can score from the outside. They're very efficient on both sides of the ball. And so we're going to have to play really well, in order to come out with a victory.
Led in scoring by Tanner Groves, who transferred from Eastern Washington. He had the 35-point game against Kansas in the tournament last year when the Eastern Washington almost upset Kansas in the first round of the tournament. Umoja Gibson was there last year. He's their second leading scorer at 12. And then Goldwire is a defensive guy. He really could steal the ball, really tough on the dribble. He is averaging about 10. And Jalen Hill, who's played there before, averaging about 9. And Elijah Harkless was a member of Oklahoma's team last year. That was still a good team and averaged 6.5 points a game. Nolan's a freshman getting 5.5. And then Chargois, again, at about 5 a game. Mason's another freshman. And then Jacob Groves is the brother of Tanner, and he can shoot the ball when he comes in from the game. So, again, the experience today is a big deal. Again, what Coach Odom talked about.
I think that's a huge thing. Anytime you have the opportunity early in the season to play for a championship, that's a big thing. And we're obviously proud of the fact that we're here, but we want to compete at a high level, against Oklahoma and go for it. There's just something about being in a championship and playing, for the opportunity, to win a trophy. When you're playing 3 games in 4 days, and you're having to quick scout and implement game plans in a very short amount of time. You're going to be facing that in the conference tournament. You're going to be facing that if you're lucky enough to make it to postseason in the NCAA tournament. And so we want to make sure that we put our best foot forward, while we're here, and we really go for it.
And what Oklahoma's done to stay undefeated in this tournament is East Carolina made a run on them. They responded. And then Indiana State had a couple of runs in the game. But, boy, the second half, they put them away. Porter Moser?
We actually talked about that at halftime. We had a run and they had a run, and it didn't affect us. Sometimes when you got immature teams, that can affect you. And I did like how we came right back. That was the run. We came back. And how you answer runs are good possessions and defensive stops. You don't answer a run by just getting a heat check 3, trying to get it all back at once. I thought we had some good possessions and we got some stops after the run.
And the one thing that Coach Odom says the Aggies offensively are going to need to have some patience with how the game goes today, speaking of runs.
We have to realize is that, there will be some times where it will be difficult, to score. There may be some droughts. There may be some moments where we're not scoring like we feel like we're capable of scoring, and it might be due to their defense, and we can't get frustrated. I think that's a big thing. But I do think we'll play well from an offensive perspective. We just need to move the ball and play our game.
There's another key, though, in the game off of the offense that, again, will make a big difference in the game.
You're taking great shots, and you're really trusting one another, and the ball is moving. It helps your defense in a lot of ways. And, that's one of the things, that is going to be of utmost importance for us in this particular game, because they are so good on defense. They can force you into really hard shots, which can impact your defense. They're really good in transition offense. And so we've got to make sure that we're getting back and 5 guys are facing, Oklahoma Sooners.
And again, the Oklahoma Sooners Aggies come up here at the top of the hour on ESPN2. Boise State just finished a nice win for our conference, 60-50 over Mississippi State. Boise's a good team and will not be easy. We saw that last year. And I think even Alston, their best player gone from last year's team, really does. They're still good. They're still really, really good. A few other notes to finish it up on our game day coverage of the Aggies pregame before the game on ESPN at 1, and then we're back on immediately after the game. Jalen Moore and myself will have some texts. We'll take calls from you. Again, it's game day on KVNU.
The holidays bring family, friends, and parties and more. How important is it to you to know that your house is sparkling clean this holiday season? Trust ChemDry of Northern Utah's hot carbonating extraction process to ensure your home is the cleanest, healthiest environment for your family gatherings this season. From carpets to hardwood floors to furniture and even granite countertops for baking. This is Daryl with Northern Utah ChemDry. Call us for some amazing holiday deals and happy Thanksgiving.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
Old McDarrell has a farm and appliance farm
with down-home country prices and big city selection.
E-I-E-I-O. When you're looking for a friendly spot to drive a little and save a lot. Hey, old McDarrell has a farm, an appliance farm. Darrell's Appliance. Low overhead, but lots of country charm. See Darrell's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
If you're thinking about getting engaged this holiday season, S.E. Needham Jewelers is the place to shop for your diamond engagement ring. S.E. Needham's has the largest selection of wedding rings in the area, including hundreds of styles in platinum, white gold, and yellow gold. We import diamonds direct from Antwerp, Belgium, which enables us to guarantee the best price on diamonds. We also offer the most complete warranty and services of any store in the state. Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Advanced Heating and AC, the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah, is teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you with the best furnace units available. And now is the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and AC and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Stop by at their showroom west of DI. Online, advancedheating-ac.com.
This is Bruce Rigby from Cache Valley Bank. People come to me all the time and say, wow, Cache Valley Bank is growing. We are growing and providing banking services to many communities in Utah and particularly here in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank is actively involved in our communities with local people who can make decisions quickly and professionally. We're a community bank and Cache Valley is important to us. Cache Valley Bank, growing, expanding, and proud to have our roots firmly planted in Cache Valley. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
KVNU Game Day is back with Al Lewis.
Staying with it, making the extra pass. We had 20 assists again tonight. That's kind of what we've always tried to do. We moved it. We have a lot of different guys that can shoot it, spacing. Just not dwelling on a miss, playing next shot, next play.
That's Porter Moser, the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, who are 4-0, and they are the number 4 shooting team in the nation, and that's why he says they have been good at shooting the basketball up until now. Aggie defense will really be tested today in this game. Again, when you've got a big 6'10 guy who can go all over the place like Tanner Groves can and shoot the ball and shoot threes, but still get inside with the physicality he's got at 6'10 and the size at, 260 or so. That's a real major assignment for the Aggies against one of the good players. But they've got guys left over there. Goldwire's transferred over from Duke. And we know the Aggies have got good players because we've seen Justin Bean now 6th in the nation, as we said, both rebounds and scoring going into this game. And Horvath, one of the best three-point shooters in the nation, and Rylan Jones on a hot run, and we got a few more guys going a little bit better. I think we need to still get more of R.J. Idle Rock, and we saw a little bit more of him in the game the other day. And, of course, Brock Miller has had a really solid tournament. Defensively, the coach has really been happy with Brock, and he, of course, can make score and points in a bundle, in bunches. So we need that for sure. Earlier in the tournament, the one game done today is Pennsylvania. Penn beat Old Dominion 71-63. So Penn and Old Dominion played for the consolation championship, and that's the seventh place game. And so Penn did win a game after the double overtime loss to the Aggies, and then the loss they had to Davidson in the tournament. So you've got East Carolina will play Davidson in a game that will come up, I believe, after the Aggie game, I think it is, or I don't know which one they'll play, and then they have Indiana State and New Mexico State. They will be on ESPN networks, but the Aggies again here on ESPN2 coming up at 1 o'clock for the game. So you can find it on ESPN2, and then immediately when the game's over, join with us, and we'll talk more about Utah State basketball. We'll have Jalen Moore joining with us again post-game today. John Russell's got the day off on this Sunday. He's actually going he's on a vacation for the Thanksgiving holiday, seeing his family. So he'll be back for the game against Arlington next Saturday. We'll have football next Friday, and the Aggies have to rebound after really a poor performance last night against Wyoming. And Wyoming played great, and now the Aggies, Boise State, Air Force are all tied. If they all end up winning this next week in their games, Air Force gets the tiebreak to win the division, and the Aggies have to hope that Boise State loses for them to have a chance to be the team. But how about Utah State volleyball? They won in 5 games against Wyoming yesterday to clinch the championship in the regular season with Colorado State in the Mountain West. So, again, Coach Nielsen and team, congratulations on that. That was really, really big for Utah State to win that one yesterday. So on this Sunday, with the NFL going on, we hope all of you are turned your attention to the Aggie basketball game. Again, watch it and then call in right after, or our text line will be available, 435-339-0321. You can even text questions for Jalen specifically if you want to, since he's going to do our postgame with us today. So after the game, Jalen Moore and myself, Al Lewis, we appreciate the sponsors. One of our sponsors, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. Remember, 752-7272 for your furnace repairs, brand new furnaces, or any help you need before the winter really sets in. So ESPN2 for the Aggies and Oklahoma. It's coming up next. Enjoy the game. Go Aggies, and let's hope they can beat a really good, solid basketball team to win the title.
As our world changes, we're with you. News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 610 AM, the voice of Northern Utah.